All right, so where do I even begin with the day that I've had today? So it started. So I get a text message from a number I don't recognize, and it says, "Hey, is this Seven Dunbar? Um, I think I purchased your guitar." And so those of you who don't know, I have this one of a kind Dean guitar that I've had for at least 20 years. It's been with me on every tour I've ever done. Um, Almost every photo you ever see of me where I'm playing guitar, like that's the guitar. And it's the no serial number. It's a one of a kind prototype Dean guitar. So this guitar, along with a Dean Cadillac bass, a Rolex Yachtmaster watch, and a Canon 80D camera, all got stolen from my storage unit in North Las Vegas. So I put out a thing on social media yesterday, picture of the guitar, still looking for my guitar, you know. So I get this picture and it's a photo of my guitar and I'm looking at it. I'm like, it's like in some room. And I was like, oh man, that's my guitar. Um, so I was like, yeah, I was like, oh my God, that's my guitar. Like, and the guy calls me and he's like, hey, I have your guitar. He's like, I'm in Colorado. He says his name's Eric. And he says, it's a buddy of mine lives in El Paso and he's Mexican. And at first he says, he thinks that his guitar might belong to some famous musician and um, realizes it's stolen property and doesn't want to have it, but also that there's a reward offered. And so he's like, yeah, he doesn't want to. He doesn't have papers, is what he says at first. He goes, he doesn't have papers, and he's Mexican, and doesn't want to get in trouble, and doesn't speak English. He asked me to like kind of be a middleman here, and I said, okay. So as we're talking, then I say, okay, well, I have friends in El Paso. I can have somebody meet up with him right now. And he's like, well, how much is the reward? I said, $500. And he goes, oh, I think he paid like 2,000 for the guitar and the watch. And I go, okay, well, I can give you 500 for your trouble, or um, it's like 20,000. The watch alone is like 17,000. So it's like federal felony theft at this point. You could deal with the police, or just I'll give you $500 for your trouble. He's like, all right, that's fine. I was like, look, I'll send somebody to meet him right now. He goes, well, he doesn't want to meet anybody. He doesn't want to get in trouble. Um, can we just ship it to you? And I said, no, I really want to meet, and if need be, I'll drive out there. And he's like, oh, that's like a day's drive. And I'm like, I'm in LA. It's like in 9 hours, 10 hours, but I don't want to drive out there. I don't want to, but I do have friends. So I was like, okay, I'll just have a friend pick it up. So he keeps pushing the issue and he's like, no, look, what if we just ship it to you? And I said, okay, if you want to ship it, that's fine. Gave him an address. He's like, well, I have a FedEx account. I'll just make the label for my buddy. He'll go to the FedEx place. He'll drop it off and send it out. I said, okay, that sounds good. So he logs into FedEx and he's like, yeah, here, I sent you a text message. Check your messages. And I'm not getting any messages from him. He's like, oh, I think you have to call me back. So we hang up, no messages. I call him back. He's like, well, okay, I'll email to you. I give him my email. So he tells me at first, he said his name was Eric. The email comes in and it's from somebody named David Gates. And I was like, why is the email not matching the name he's given me? That's a little bit of a red flag there. There's a couple of things in the conversation that started to like tip off little red flags. So then I I get that I get that email and I check the screenshots. Three different shipping options. Do you want it there Tuesday? Do you want it there Wednesday? $150, $200, whatever. I said, $150 to do that one. It's fine. And I look on the screenshot and I notice in the bottom corner, first of all, on the top in his FedEx account, it says John, and it says the guy it's coming from is John, um, something or other. And he's like, yeah, that's my buddy. His name is John. I look up the address. It's a FedEx shipping center. I'm like, but if it's his FedEx account, why does his buddy John have the account? Like, so we got the name John, we got the name Eric, got the name David. Oh, and I forgot a part of the story. So as I'm going to come pick it up, I got a buddy. I'll come do it. I don't want it shipped. I'll have somebody come get it right now. He goes, oh, he's stuck at the border. He's an international truck driver. And so at first, remember, it was, oh, he's not here. He's undocumented. He doesn't have his papers. Now He has a green card. He's an international truck driver that drives shipments back and forth from Mexico to El Paso, whatever the border town is in El Paso in Mexico. He's in Mexico right now. He's stuck at the border because this drug dealer, somebody from the cartel, got killed, and there's an international thing, and it's all. He's like, "Aren't you watching the news?" I'm like, "I'm not watching the news." I was like, "So how do we get the guitar?" He's like, "Dude, you got to turn on the news." I go, "I'm not interested in the news." Like, and he keeps trying to switch the subject, and he's bouncing all over the place, and he's talking like he's all fucking tweaked out. So I'm like, "Look, I'm not worried about the news." So that's when we decided on the shipping. So I'm looking at the shipping thing he sends me, and it says John, and I'm like, "I don't know, man." He says his name's Eric. The email says David. The thing says John. Let me look up this phone number. And so I do a reverse search on the phone number, and it's a VoIP, a VoIP, voice over internet number. It's not a actual phone. And it's like flagged as like 87% flagged as fraud. And it's got this other guy like Fernandez or something that lives in Houston. So now I got 4 names, 4 different people. He's already calling me from a voiceover phone. He's emailing me. Something's weird, but I'm gonna let this play out, see where he's going with it. So he's like, okay, we're gonna send it out. He'll send out the guitar. The label's created. He sends me the tracking number. And he's like, log into FedEx and check the tracking number. And I do. And I'm like, okay, yeah, the tracking number's good. And so he's like, well, how are you going to pay the reward? I go, when the guitar gets here and the Rolex gets here, I'll, or whatever he wants, PayPal, Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, whatever he wants. And he goes, oh, well, let's use Cash App or Venmo. Can you say they have crypto? And I was like, yeah, okay. And immediately I'm like, why are we sending it in crypto? Like, again, another huge red flag. So I'm talking to the guy. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We'll send it in crypto, whatever we need to do. And then he goes, okay, but what about the 150 I paid for the shipping? I go, yeah, I'll pay you back the 150. That's fine. When the guitar gets here, I'll send it to you. And he goes, well, I'm at 150. I just paid it right now. Can't you pay me now? Why do I have to wait? And I was like, look, man, I don't know you. You don't know me. I'm not sending money to a voice on another end of the phone. When the guitar arrives and I know it's legit, I'm not saying you're not, but I don't know you. So when it gets here, I'll send you $150. He's making this. He's like, oh, let me call my buddy, this and that. Calls me back again. I don't even know why he needed to call the buddy. Oh no, he didn't call me back. He said, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. Never calls back. I call him back an hour later. And I was like, yeah, what's the deal? Like, are you shipping it? And he's like, I'm gonna have him get somebody else to do it. I'm gonna cancel the shipping label. I was like, why would you do that? I'll send you the money. I go, you know what? You paid $150. I'll send you 200 when it gets here. I said, you make $50 for waiting 2 days and for your trouble, you know? And he's like, no, 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 I'm going to cancel it. And so he's like, well, let me call him. I'll call you back in 5 minutes. Never calls back. At this point, I'm looking at it and I realize like all these red flags. He's 4 different names involved, voiceover. And I call him on this when I do talk to him. I said, look, the reason I'm not sending this to you, you told me your name was Eric. Your email says David. The account says John. I looked up your phone number and it's a voiceover and it's some guy named Fernandez. And he goes, well, I'm not dumb. And I go, what do you mean you're not dumb? He goes, well, this is stolen property. I don't want to get in trouble. He's like, so I just downloaded this app and I made a fake email to contact you just now because I don't want to get in trouble for the stolen property. I go, that makes no sense. You're returning stolen property. You're getting a reward. You're not getting in trouble. So just huge red flag there. I look at the timestamp on the bottom of his little thing, screenshots, and it says like, "Hi, Moxie." My dog's in here. She's crying. At the bottom of it, it says like 2349 or whatever. You want to come up and say hi? Come up. Say hi. Do you want to say hi? There we go. Can we stop crying now? Yeah. You good? Can I finish my video? Okay. So I'm looking at the screenshot and it says like 2350 or whatever, and it's almost 1 o'clock where I'm at, meaning it's almost 1 a.m. or almost midnight where he's at, which is like France or Germany or something like that, right? And I'm like, everything about this is fucked up. So the guy says he calls me back in 5 minutes, never calls me back. And then I look at the photo he sent me. and it's my guitar, and it's up in this wooden, like on a floor up against a wall. And I look at it, and I look at like there's about 20 photos that I posted online of the guitar, and one of them it's hanging with two other guitars on a rack, and it's got you can't really see it in the photo, but it's got LEDs that are coming down. And so the lighting of it makes the bottom corner look like it's all lit up. Half the strings are lit up, and the tuning pegs, one of them's turned and catching the light. And I look at the photo, all of those lighting things are the same. And there's the lighting, it's got the right shadows, but there's no light source of where that could be there because the original photo was an LED that was attached to like, let me see if I can find one in my studio here. There we go. So it's hanging here, and then there's an LED right here that's pointing down. It's like a lighting effect. And I was like, the lighting doesn't make sense. And it's matching my other photo exactly. It's just brighter. The exposure's been lit up. And then I go, and the tuning pegs are exactly where mine were in my photo. It is statistically impossible because I tune that guitar every time I play it. If I'm recording, I'm tuning it after every take. Hi, Moxie. Um, Whoever has the guitar probably tuned the guitar. It is statistically impossible for the tuning pegs, all 6 of them, to be exactly where they were in my photo. There's no fucking way. So I'm guessing the scam was to like they saw a lot of people shared my ad. It got within 24 hours, I had like 5,000 views on it. So they probably saw it somewhere online. But it was they had to look up my other photos because yesterday I posted one photo. This was from another time I posted like 2 months ago. So they must have looked it up, taken that phone number or taken that photo and ran it through AI. And the scam is like, oh, we found your guitar. Oh, I paid for the shipping. Give me the $150 or $200 for shipping, right? Seems like a lot of work for a couple $100, but shitty people out there. The only thing I can't figure out is how the fuck did they get my personal cell number? Because that's not listed anywhere. Even if you look for me online, my business line comes up, but this was my personal cell number. So that's the only part of this puzzle I can't figure out. But yeah, that was my day. And then on top of that, as I'm going through that, I come out and there's a skunk in my driveway. And I love skunks. I used to have pet skunks. And this poor little guy's walking in circles and sneezing, which immediately I'm like, okay, maybe it's sick. It's got like distemper or something. And it's walking back and forth in the street. I'm like, this thing is going to get hit by a car. Um, so I call animal control, and then a lady comes by randomly, and she's like, "Oh, I have a cat carrier in my car." So I accept my fate, and I go, "I'm getting skunked." And I get the cat carrier, and I go and I pick this little guy up, and he just at this point he laid down in the grass, and he was like almost like he was exhausted. And I picked him up and put him in the cat carrier. Didn't skunk me. I got lucky. Um, didn't get sprayed, and he just sat in the cat carrier. And then an hour and a half later, animal control showed up. So I've been dealing with scammers and skunk sitting all day. But otherwise, new studios coming together. Got keyboard set up, got some photos set up, got plaques on the walls. Everything else is in shambles. It's still a mess over there, so we're not looking at that. But otherwise, we're up and running. We're working. So um, podcast starting back up here pretty soon. Probably next week. So you'll see some more videos and more stuff. And gonna definitely leaning more into not just the interviews, but we're going to be doing a lot of just helping up and coming artists, a lot of knowledge, a lot of info, putting out there. I have 20 years experience in the industry on a lot of different aspects of it, and we want to, I want to share that knowledge and get it out there. So any questions you have, send them in. We'll answer your questions on video, and we'll get things rolling. But yeah, stay safe out there and don't send strangers money.